I'm glad that you could do this with us.
Okay.
I was wondering, Lenny, you have such a wonderfully varied body of work, everything from studio photography with flowers to abstractions to street photography. What are you emphasizing in the images that you've chosen for this new featured exhibit?
Well, I just been looking over my pieces that I'm going to put into the show, and they fall into categories of bridges and leaves and people and an image of a flag. These categories seem to keep reoccurring because I like bridges because of the shapes. If I can locate myself in a particular place near the bridge, I can get different types of shapes and forms that you don't usually see when you're driving over the bridge. A lot of people say, "Well, what is it that you like about bridges?" It's not so much that it's a bridge, but it's the shapes and the various things that I can see. Sometimes it's only a part of a bridge, and sometimes it's the whole. It's a big part of the bridge. As far as leaves are concerned, and things of that nature, I usually look for colors and shapes. That's the wonderful thing about nature. Uh, it's almost unlimited, the number of things in colors and shapes that you can find in flowers and leaves. I think I'll never run out of images to find. And it's that's really the issue, is to go out and look and find. Many times I don't have any of these things in my mind, what I'm looking for. It's getting out and walking around, doing a lot of walking, and putting yourself in places where you weren't before, and finding these marvelous things in nature. And the other category, as far as people are concerned, usually it's people who interest me doing something, usually like the men maybe building the bridge, or people who are actively doing something. One of the pictures I have is a musician who has given up a lot of his time to play at the Rhode Island Hospital, to play with children who are there with various serious problems. And the last item I mentioned about the flag, I happened to see a flag that this was 2 or 3 years ago, actually, that for some reason, and I can't quite, I never did find out why somebody took a flag, American flag, and put two of them together, and somehow they got torn apart and not completely in threads. And it reminded me of what was happening today with the country being torn apart from within. The flag was deteriorating from within the flag itself. So that is something that caught my attention, and that's what I look for: things that are unusual, and I can put into my own feelings about a certain subject. So that pretty much covers the things that have interested me, and those things have really kept me busy pretty much without going into anything new. But most of my work is where things are not changing. Taking pictures early in the morning and late at night, then things do change very rapidly. I have also done lately, well, the last 2 or 3 years, some work inside the house with lighting, with artificial lighting, and try to do something a little special with it. There you have plenty of time, and you would think you could experiment and do a lot of shooting that you throw away and it doesn't work out. But you can keep trying and you don't have to worry about the light changing because you're controlling the light and controlling the backgrounds.
Well, I was going to ask you, is there some area of photography that you wish you had tried, or something that maybe you've done a little bit of, but that you wish you had done more of?
Like I said, it sounds simple, but as I said, you know, time of day, taking some pictures, getting up early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, and getting out there and taking some really just as the sun is coming up it's a really unbelievable light. I, I've got as much as I can handle. I really think that I don't think I've done everything I can do to perfect what I've already done. I go back and find images, and this is interesting because you go back and in the computer when you have the time. And last year, who didn't have the time?
Right.
And you go back and say, why am I going back to a year ago, 2 years, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? And you find images that you thought you wouldn't, oh, I'm not going to do anything with that. And you find that you really can do justice to an image that you put aside, or you thought there was another image that was better, and some of those images turn out to be really good, really, or an image that you worked on and maybe didn't do justice to. I've been going back, and I don't mean I find a lot of images, but I definitely find enough to make it worthwhile to go back and say to yourself, well, maybe 5 years ago, I wasn't as good at working with Photoshop as I am today. Able to do, and I don't mean crazy stuff, but just nuances, making something just a little bit better. Just that little bit of a difference can sometimes make the difference of something that's really special. I don't know, I'm still turned on about photography. I don't know whether some people get tired of it, but I have never tired of it. I think there's still, I still think that I can be better.